webinar to start. You are currently live streaming. Follow the link to see. Oh, wait. I think I'm there. Hey, guys. Wait, how do we make this big? Wait, don't hang up yet. How do I... Well, yeah, it's because it's... Yeah. All right. We got to get closer. All right. Okay. You are a lifesaver. Thank you so much. All right. And you're on this call right now. So, yay. Thanks to Brett Weber for hooking us up and fixing us. All right. Thanks, Brett. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye. Now, this does screw us up because you need to be closer. You got to come in closer to me. Okay, so. Come closer. Yeah, right there. Look at that. Okay. All right, guys. Wait. There's a... How do we get the words up so we can see what's happening? Well, we're newer at this. Yes, I was talking to Brett. He was fixing it for us. Jim, I think we're going to come up here.
I think we are, too.
Can you guys see us? Can someone let us know if you can hear or see us? He was fixing it for you. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Sarah? All right, guys. What the shenanigans?
Why are you losing the signal?
I don't know what's happening or why the signal is being lost. Okay.
She says by itself.
We're good. Awesome. We're going to get started. For some reason, it keeps flashing that we can pull this off.
Signal.
Are we back? We're just going to talk it out.
Both. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get started. Apologizing up front for the crazy shenanigans. And
notes here, too.
Oh, you got your notes too. All right, good. Should we start off talking about reunion?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. Hopefully you all received an email today, and there was some further announcements about the reunion schedule. You have until the end of this month to register. I encourage you to find some sort of way to do it. Just register. It's going to be amazing. This is going to be our biggest one yet. I'm anticipating a lot of huge announcements, hoping, and the speakers are just going to be amazing. So you want to make sure you register. So let's do that.
You get a lot of free stuff.
Yeah, tons of free stuff. Read the email, click all the links in there, I'll give you the schedule. It's just going to be really, really, really good. That's why we're just talking. I think on that last day for lunch is when we'll all try to meet together somewhere, maybe for the buffet, and we'll just find a place to go, and we can all sit together and that, because we have about an hour, I think, in the schedule to have lunch together. We were going to try to do a dinner, and I think it's just going to be too complicated getting everybody together for that. So I think just the lunch, we're going from the trainings, we can go right to have lunch, and then it will just be really fun and good.
Yeah, and there's a ton of places to eat there. And if you haven't looked at the menus, if you haven't looked at the resort, the Red Rock Resort and Casino, please do so. I see that some people still have room for. Danielle has room for one more, so let's get it going, guys. It is seriously going to be so much fun. Every once in a while. I don't know why my mom has it set to stop like every 3 minutes, but we're gonna get rolling.
Okay,
and
I just want to say one more thing. I posted this on my team page the other day. We're coming up to a holiday week, which means it's also not only a holiday week, but it's also the end of the month. So you know what always happens? All the orders go into the last minute, and then everybody's going to be panicking on why they didn't get their orders in. So if you have orders for events beginning of June, I would highly suggest you get them placed within the next day or so, because There's going to be an enormous amount of orders always go in that last day, and the 31st is the last day, and that's the day after Memorial Day, so it's going to get crazy. So I don't want to hear nobody complaining next week that's like, oh my gosh, I don't have my product for my event. Well, you were warned, so let's do it. Okay.
Awesome. All right. We're going to get started on the qualities of achievers. Changing up some of our webinars because it's not all just, I mean, this definitely has a lot to do with your business. And you can make yourself an achiever. So I did some research and I found actually 21. So we'll just say 20 plus a bonus on what some qualities are. The first one is an achiever is ambitious. They see themselves as being capable of being the best. So it goes back to that self-fulfilling prophecy. I know that Lindsay and I talk about that a lot. If especially when we were in education, if you tell a kid all the time that they're bad, eventually they're just going to start acting and doing things because they assume that everybody thinks they're bad already. It's the reverse as well. If you constantly think that you're the best and you're really good at it, and I'm not saying to be conceited or like tooting your own horn or anything like that, it's just believing in yourself. If you are ambitious and you have that strong why, but then also that strong how, so making sure that you know the steps that you're going to take to get to where you need to go, and having that burning desire, and that's not something that anybody can give you. You know, we can give you the trainings, we can give you tools, but you have to have that inside you to actually want to get more and to want to move up and do bigger, better things.
Yep. And then the next one is courageous. Achievers, they confront their fears that holds others. People are afraid to do things, and if you're afraid to do it and you're not courageous, you're never going to be the achiever type. Enemies are fear and doubt. Let's face it, we've all been there. We've all experienced it. There's nothing worse than letting fear and negative energy come into it, and it will pull you right down. And don't fear prospecting and looking at people and finding and say, you know, how can I, ask them to join the team, host a party, buy something. When I first met Jess, I gave her that challenge, and I think she thought I was crazy that day. And she told me she thought I was crazy that day, and look at her now. So, so she has progressed well with it. And so you got to be courageous, and you got to believe in that.
Yeah, and I think that don't fear the prospecting is, like you said, just get out there and share. And I believe it might have been Roxy that I heard it from, where it's a disservice to not share the information with everybody. You don't know what people are going through. You know, we have a really nice area really nice homes in our one area. Lots of very rich in the South Point area.
Yep.
And I caught myself saying, well, they don't need to know. You know, like maybe they'll buy stuff, but no one's going to want to join. I mean, they have a ton of money up there. But there are a lot of stay-at-home moms that just want to get out of the house and meet some new people. So I've had to sort of overcome that, and because that is a fear of mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to push my business.
Yeah,
what if people don't like it?
You can't have that. You can't. You just have to have the belief so strong, and it has to be a burning energy within you to do it.
All right, the third one is committed. I like this one. You have to have that belief in yourself, the product, and your customers. So obviously we want everybody to believe in themselves. And when you feel down and you can't and you just don't believe in yourself that day, then you message someone from the team, whether it's Paisley Freedom, whether it's Team Dreams, whether it's PZ International All-Stars, message someone. And there are times where I call Jim and I'm like, Jim, I feel really bad about myself. Can you tell me something good about me? Sometimes
quite
it's
often.
2 a.m, right? But, he thought I died when my phone broke. Anyways, the big one is the product, guys. You cannot sell Pink Zebra home fragrances and take pictures of your house with other candles in in the house. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, believing in the product, in the career plan. If you are set on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but how are you working? How are you chasing more than one rabbit?
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
you got to put everything you have into it, and you know, and when you do that, you know, it's the multiplication factor. Yes, you're going to have setbacks. Yes, you're going to have roadblocks thrown at you. But if your focus isn't on one thing, you know, you're spread all over the place. And I think more than anything, the thing with me on that is the signal and the message you're sending to your customers, your friends, your relatives is like, oh, she's all over the place. She's not involved in any one thing. You know, people wanna see it. I mean, I just shared with Jess that I had an aunt who passed away very quickly and unexpectedly, and so the last couple of days we've had a lot of text messages and phone calls between cousins and about the plans and everything. And you know, my one cousin, I just got off the phone with her on the drive here, and she's like, you know, you do so much with this pink zebra, and I wasn't even sure if you were around because you're always traveling, you're always doing something. So the message I sent to her that I'm in this full time, they know it. And she's not even a customer. She won't buy anything because her husband absolutely hates fragrance things in their home. So this is not somebody who's even buys from me, but she gets the message because she can read everything that I post online. So it's really for the commitment is you have to be so strong with that. I love this next one. This is one of my favorites. It's passion. Passion is just something that absolutely it just comes through comes out of your skin when people know you're passionate about it, and it goes back to what she said before, that you have to know the product. You know, I saw somebody post just a little bit ago, I think somewhat today, and she was like, well, I didn't even know, and it's funny because it's up here with us, I didn't even know honeydew melon was a current scent. I mean, I wanted to bang my head against the wall, and I was like, how do you not know that? How do you not know that? Know the product line. Know them, you know?
And I don't think it takes a lot. If you can just give yourself 10 minutes a day, that amazing thing called back office, there is a section under there, under resources, under product, that's the product F&Qs. And it has everything. Just give yourself 10 minutes, and maybe on Monday you focus, you just read about sprinkles, and maybe on Tuesday you read about soaks. But that's also going to be, you know, you're learning the product and you're learning the business, you're going to be more confident, you're going to be able to believe in yourself a little bit more, and your customers are going to be able to believe in you a little bit more because you're going to know what you're talking about. You know, I think one of the biggest compliments, my dad is really not good at giving compliments at all. I love him to death. I started to go see this new chiropractor, and he was really iffy about it. And he came home the one day and he said, he is so good at his job, Jessica. Like, he loves it so much. He loves what he does like you love pink zebra. And I was like, oh, thanks, Dad. So, I mean, that's pretty big. I don't know why our faces keep going dark every once in a while, and I keep, like, looking around for it, and I can't find it. So that's why you keep seeing me, like,
putting hands
not,
across
yeah, like, I'm not like,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
But are we good on passion? Do we want to move
Passion,
to the...
I think it's pretty explanatory. It just believe in everything you do. Believe in the product, and I'm just going to add this because this thought just came in my mind. Don't try to reinvent the wheel of what Pink Zebra is doing for us. They have our back. They, you know, the whole shipping thing is some changes. If you're getting stuff out of the Sugarland warehouse, believe that they have our best interests.
Yeah, they don't want to fail.
I mean,
they don't want us to fail.
come on. They want us to sell more. They've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in machinery and everything else. And so it's a passion. They have a passion. We have to have a passion and just follow through with all that. So go, Jess.
All right. Achievers are professional. So I think it's very important to understand in our profession that professionalism, what do I want to say, might not be the same as in another kind of sales. So, you know, we're consultants. We're not salespeople. People do not like to be sold. So I found this really cool thing. Consultants, they come in, they hang out, they have a cup of coffee, and they chat for a little bit. The salesperson is the one who sits in the lobby and waits and has a glass of water. And I delivered an order the other day, a party the other day, and I knocked on the door and I took my first box in, and then I just sort of went in with my second box, and she was already at her table, and and I remembered I said, "Do you want something to drink?" And usually I would say no, or I'll just have a glass of water. And she's like, "Oh, we have tea and Pepsi and blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll have an iced tea." I only took a couple sips of it because I really didn't want it. But it's still the fact that, you're sitting down and you're chatting and you're building that relationship. So that sort of sets us apart. And we can even go back to even the professionally dressed. Yeah, you want to look neat and tidy, obviously, things like that. But hey, in some professions, it's not okay to have pink hair. Thankfully, in ours it is. But don't be afraid to wear your brand. Jim's got his
shirt on right now.
Pink zebra shirt on. I have my, join the herd. And I try to wear something pink zebra every single day. And I know I've told my team this often. It's a conversation starter. So is the pink hair. Mm-hmm. So, just something to keep in mind when you're being professional. Watching what you say and how you say it. I mean, we want you to be you, and you're building relationships with people that you've known, that you're growing to know, but you still want to, maintain that professionalism.
Yeah, I want to add something in here too, Jess, and I'm asked all the time, well, what exactly do you say to people to create sales? And one of the points in this whole outline we wrote was they don't like to be sold. One of the things I always do is I always use garden lilac as an example. So somebody will come up and they'll be like, oh, that's what this is. Oh no, I don't like fragrance stuff. And I said, well, this product is very different than anything else. And I said, maybe I like, I don't. It's okay. So I just will show you, and I always show garden lilac, and I show garden lilac for a reason, because it is one of the reasons why I joined the company. I think the scent is just amazing, and I've said this many times. My mom loved lilac, and I would always argue with my sister around Mother's Day and birthdays, because I'd say, Kathy, we can't buy that. It doesn't even smell. And she's like, no, but it says lilac, so we're buying it, Mm-hmm. And so I open the jar. I never say to somebody, do you want to buy a jar of this? I let the product talk, and I share. And I'll say, I just want you to smell this. Just look, and they're like, oh my gosh, that smell good. And they're like, how else could I use this? And I'm like, well, you can make sachets, and I tell them all different ways. They're like, and how much is it again? I'm like, well, I sell these for $10 a jar with the tax. And they're like, what then? So I didn't sell them. I explained the benefits, and I was professional with it, and I let them know about the product, and I achieved the sale that way. There's nothing worse than say, would you like to buy one of these? They're going to say no. Mm-hmm. And then you have nowhere to go from there. There's nowhere to change their mind, So I think that's really important. One of the next things is being prepared. And, this is, sometimes people think to achieve that you just have to, you're given things. No, it's very, very little steps. When I first joined the company, I had seen, and I have mentioned this many times, I had seen Darren Hardy, editor of Success Magazine. He also writes a book, The Compound Effect. And when I saw him, and I was through another direct sales company's convention that I did prior to the first Pink Zebra reunion, and he riveted me in my chair, and just his examples of just small steps that you have to take to do this. And and he said these things: make sacrifices, review calls, go to get every bit of training you can, go to meetings. Constantly go over your back office, review things.
It's an obsession.
Almost to your point, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I mean, I still go in the back office and pull tabs and read things, and I was like, oh gosh, I didn't know that, or I forgot that. Yeah. And you have to do it. Review your parties. Review what you say. I mean, we just talked about this earlier in that, and I told Jessica that I talk to myself in my car all the time. If anybody ever put a secret recording device in my car, they'd be like, "Oh my God, that man is
crazy."
actually crazy." And I think Brett and Roxy are on the call, and I drove across the country this year, and this winter, and I stopped in to see them, and I did share this with Brett, and I did not have the radio on the whole way from when I left Pittsburgh until I got that, and it was 2 days, and I reached Oklahoma City for them. And it was because, you know what, I cleared my mind, talked to myself about ideas, and it was just, it was amazing. It was the best thing I ever did, and I was like, and I just loved it. In fact, I didn't turn it on after I left Oklahoma City and drove all the way on to Phoenix. So,
well, this is going to lead us into our next one too. But I'm actually in the process of reading a book. We were just talking about this. Talks about it takes 10,000 hours to master a craft. I don't care if it's playing the violin, and I'll tell you about the book in a second. It could be playing baseball or hockey or whatever it might be. It could be mastering a party. So, Jim had a lot of hours in his car, so he cracked off, a couple, almost 100 so hours, right, of drive time over the course of while you were gone.
I solved every problem in the world, too.
So, but, just doing that practice over and over, and that goes back to making sacrifices. Yeah, it would have been a lot easier to pop that radio on, and there are times where I just need that music to get me going. We've talked about that before. But, I hear a lot, I don't have time. I just don't have the time. And I love when I hear I don't have the time, but then I get 10 Candy Crush requests from someone, or I don't have the time, but, The Bachelorette's on, or I don't have the time, but this is my movie marathon. And that's great. I mean, that's one of the great things about Pink Zebra is you can work your business the way that you would like to work your business, but don't use time as an excuse because there are people out there that are making those sacrifices. And again, we're not going back, we're not tooting any horns or anything like that. But realistically, and my husband's on this call, we pretty much, okay, he watches a ton of sports. I listen to them in the background. Sunday nights, you guys, my team knows that. I'm not available on Sunday nights between the hours of 8 and midnight because that is The Walking Dead, The Talking Dead, and then yes, sometimes I do rewatch The Walking Dead just so I can catch up on things I missed. That's it. I've made a lot of sacrifices over the last couple months so that I could. Brad is obsessed with Brett's beard. He's going to try really hard to grow it. I'm sorry. Yes, that's Brett, Roxy, and the beard. But yeah, so, being prepared, again, reviewing things in your back office. And like Jim said too, which leads us into the next step, is being a continuous learner. Take those trainings, read those books, read those articles, listen to CDs. You can go to the library. They're free. Especially, and I can't speak for all the other libraries out there, although they are all free. But Carnegie Library System, you don't have to go. You can just type in what you're looking for. They have it sent right to your library. And then, you just pick it up when it's ready. It's awesome. You don't have to think about it. But don't just be obsessed with taking the trainings. You have to actually do what you're learning about. The current book I'm reading right now, and I can't tell if I'm showing it or not, so we're just going to hold it up right there. It's called Outliers. It's the story of success. It's by Malcolm Gladwell, and he also wrote The Tipping Point and Blink. This is an amazing book. So if you have a chance to get that, and I actually recommend buying it because you can highlight. Yeah, highlighted stuff. When you're reading it, you're just like, oh my God, yeah, that totally makes sense. And then you can go back and you can check it out later, or you can pass it along to one of your teammates who can maybe scan over it, whatever it might be. But don't be afraid to step outside of your box, do some research. The Fred Factor is another great book. Oh, yeah. It's 100 pages. It's not that big. 26 Steps of Leadership, that was another one that I actually listened to. I didn't read it. I listened to it, which was good too. But we have how many? Jim, name your top 3 people to watch trainings.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, and you know what? I'm going to actually tell you. I think there's and as you start to follow certain people, there seems like more even come in my news feed. It's like, well, who's this? And I'm clicking on it. There's so many I watch, and some I don't. I can't say I watch any one person. exclusively,
Right.
there's just a ton. I mean,
Tag team party peeps.
yeah, they're. I think the tag team is so current. I think probably I'd have to tell you, follow them. They're upfront. They're current. They're looking.
They do not sugarcoat.
They do not
No.
sugarcoat a thing, and they have a sweet way of telling you you're being a jerk about this.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh well, thank you for telling me I'm being a jerk.
Belinda Ellsworth,
Yeah.
Mary Christensen, obviously
There's
those big
so-
names,
there's so-
Julianne Jones.
There's so many. There's just so many.
There's this amazing thing called Google. I know I tell you guys about it all the time.
Yeah.
You can pretty much find anything on Google. Don't be afraid to just type it in. If you're struggling with booking parties, type in booking parties from parties or booking, just give yourself a half an hour and start reading up on things, and see what works best for you.
Okay, the next is responsible. Oh my goodness, responsibility. Many of you know that I raised two daughters, and I had many fights with my daughters, especially during the teenage years. My daughters are 21 and 24 right now.
See, Brad, we have nothing to look forward to.
And there were some days that I was just like, why? I remember telling my one day, I said, I can remember watching the news and seeing how could parents do these to their kids. And I was like, I know why now. I mean, I literally could kill you tonight. You're just driving me crazy. And my daughter said to me the one day, she turned 16 and she flipped out on me. And she's like, what are you doing to me? What kind of life are you trying to give to me? And I told her, I said, I am making you a productive young adult who is responsible. And I said, I do not expect you to understand that today, but it will happen eventually. She is in a job that is just amazing. They keep on throwing more work on her because they know she's taking it. And I mean, I see great things coming from her. And it is because she has accepted that. And there's nothing worse than people saying, and I know people always say, Jim, I don't sugarcoat anything. And I don't. I've had people tell me I made them cry. Well, guess what? Maybe those were, tears of success, because I want you to learn responsible for your own actions and learning how to get in there and do it. If I did everything for you, you would not achieve anything. So you have to accept that responsibility yourself and be just adamant that you're going to follow through with everything. And it's so important.
I think making someone cry is a good mentor. And I'm just going to tell you
I guess
why.
I do it a lot.
You are really good, Jim. No, because even when I taught, he was one of the best teachers. His name was Ken Lex. He was the best teacher that I have ever met before. Very passionate. He was an achiever. Unfortunately, it was just somewhere where it wasn't very appreciated, or still is somewhere it's not very appreciated. And he was my mentor teacher. And I remember my first October, and we sat down to meet, and I started to cry. And he was keeping a little notebook, and I said, and he said, I'm writing that Jessica Lynch is a big baby. And I was like, what? No, you're not. And he held it up, and sure enough, it said Jessica Lynch is a big baby on there. And I was like, that's so mean. You're not even helping me. And he said, you need to accept responsibility, Jessica. What are you going to do? And I was like, you're right. So, I mean, it's not just Jim. If Jim's made you cry, it's not just Jim. If I made you cry, I'm sorry. It's just not us. It does happen in other professions as well. And it does go back to just, wanting to help. And sometimes people who maybe you're not around all the time, they see something in you, and it just takes a kick in the ass to get it out.
Yep.
And that hurts sometimes.
Yep.
So, all right. Oh, yeah, I'm doing this one because I'm so bad at this. Okay. The next one is, we're just going to say it's right now. Don't procrastinate. I don't know if my husband's still on this call or not. And I've said this before, and I use this situation all the time. I would rather scrub the bathroom with a toothbrush than pick up the phone and make calls. Why? just put it off. I'll do it later. I'll do this first, and then I'll do that second. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to do 5 other things before that. Oh, now it's time to make dinner. Now I got to get my kids. And you just keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Stop. You got to do it right now. And the best thing that I have found is making a list. I'm a huge list maker. I have started making my list the night before because I'm in the mindset. It's right before I go to bed. I put my definite things I need to do. Actually, I make a whole list and I star the things that have to get done that day, and then the rest of them are my extras. And I commit to that. That's what I'm going to do. And if I have, and I stop just saying follow-up calls. I'll say 5 or I'll say 10, or I'll give myself a goal, something that that I have to achieve so that I don't, keep putting that off.
I want to share this. I used to own a retail store. It was in the South Hills area. It was in a mall location. And I also ran a wholesale business. So we had wholesale and retail. So it was like I would leave my wholesale job and go to my retail job. And many of the customers, we had a lot of constant repeat customers. You got to know them and they became very personal with you. And the one day, the one woman said to me, who was in the store all the time, bought all kind of stuff from us. And she said, Jim, you just look like you're frazzled. And I was like, I can't find my list to keep track of my list. I said, I have so many lists going on here. And I said, I have it for everything. And she's like, well, tell me more about this. And I'm proceeding to tell her, and I showed her I had like lists of things for me to do. We were preparing to go on a trip, and I had lists of things I wanted staff to do to, just fill up all kind of different things. She opened her purse, and I never knew this from the woman, and she handed me her business card, and I was like, oh. And I looked, and she had a doctorate degree in behavioral studies. And she does counseling, and she said, I did my thesis on organizational behavior and the effect of lists of how much more you will achieve in your lifetime when you make lists. And I said, oh my gosh, I find that sometimes when I make the list, I felt like I was going backwards because I never get stuff done on the list. And she goes, that's the greatest thing in the world. And that's why you're going to be successful with this. And she said, and that's why your store is successful, because you're always pushing yourself. You're not like, okay, that's done, that's good. No, she said, you guys, she said, I come in here because you guys are always changing. You're always making the store trying to be better. And I was so making the list it's so critical to keep your ideas and thoughts moving forward. So don't get frustrated with that I always lose them. Okay. I've lost one today. I was like, I know that thing is here somewhere and I still can't find it, but I just went on and created a new list, so it was okay.
All right, I'm telling this story.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the next one is creating opportunities, and I will tell you that, and if you weren't at Rally, then I'm sorry because you heard this story already. If you weren't, then listen up, because this guy right here, Jim Kessler, he is the master of creating opportunities. I know you're blushing. So we're on the incentive trip, and in bathing suits, right, and drinking a lot. We totally didn't plan that. So, lots of drinking, and we're just socializing. You're seeing people that you haven't seen since maybe the last trip or the last reunion. And, you want to sit and you want to talk to April, who you haven't seen in, 5 or 6 months, or maybe Dawn, who you haven't seen in a year, or whatever it might be. But Jim does all that, but also found a way to let everybody, I'm not kidding when I say everybody, like, I'm not exaggerating, everybody there know who was and why we were there. And then even went as far as sending samples and catalogs to people's rooms, with their permission, of course, and invited a couple, sort of, to the meet and greet that we had. So he brought some party crashers, but the thing is that Jim knows how to step outside. Jim has no box. Yeah. There is no box because Jim just goes anywhere, and he can talk to anybody. And I do, I joke and I said, you don't have to like Jim, but you gotta follow what he does. You gotta listen because the guy does know what he's talking about. So I know you want to elaborate. How are we creating opportunities?
It was just funny because what happened at the poll is we were all meeting together and we got kind of loud and it seemed like we were just overcrowding this couple. And I just said, I'm sorry, we're kind of loud, just taking over your little space here. And I said, we work with this direct sales company and we're this is an incentive trip. She's like, oh, that's interesting. And of course, we're in Costa Rica and there could be people from anywhere. I don't know where they're from. And I was like, where are you folks from? And she's like, El Paso of Paso, Texas. And I was like, oh. And so I was like, okay, here we go. So I started to explain about Pink Zebra, and I looked at everybody and like, back off, I got this one. And so I said to them, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, he's after somebody. I gotta find out and maybe try to get in on this. Mm-hmm. And so the woman would not give me her information, so I got out of the pool, soaking wet. I didn't even grab my towel, my room was closed, so I was lucky. I went and got a catalog, brought 2 catalogs down, in fact. Got back into the pool and put them up. There was a swim up bar. And I said, and they were sitting at that bar. I was like, I'm just going to put these catalogs right here. If you or anybody else want to look one. And she says, can I take that? And I said, absolutely, hon. And she took it and she went and she put it in her bag and she said, well, look at it. She did talk to me later on that she said, I am not going to, I will tell you, I don't want to join the company. But I do want to order some things. Now, will she? I don't know. I don't have her information because she wouldn't give it to me. The other person that just said, she did. I sent her catalog. I do have her cell phone number and her email, and I text her all the time. The last sale I messaged her, she's like, hey, we just sold our house unexpectedly. We're moving quickly. She said, I'm very interested. I am going to join, but just not yet. Please keep me informed. All the other promotions come up. So it's a mindset. And I said that at the rally. It's just a mindset that you get yourself into. And again, this is where the practice and start planning this. Of like how you just talk to somebody without being salesy and being pushy and asking them to buy something. Just say what you do. I find a way to bring it up into the conversation. Everyone's like, oh, I've just been so busy. I just do this direct sales company. And they're like, oh, what is it? I don't come out and tell them until I make them ask me questions about it. So that's
about too. If you're really quiet, don't be afraid to bust out the lotion. You're in a group of people. Put some of your Pink Zebra lotion on, and somebody in that room is going to go, "What is that smell?" Mm-hmm. And you're going to go, "Oh my gosh, this is my lotion." And Care, do you want some? And then be there with your sample and a business card. I think it might have been Roxy again who had said this. When you're standing in line at the grocery store or Walmart or whatever it is, take out a catalog out of your bag and read it in line. And
people are always looking over somebody's shoulder.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then don't be afraid to bring it up to the cashier and have some samples ready, or the lady at the drive-through, whatever it might be. I've even handed out samples at the movie theater.
I do it all the time.
You just have to.
I want to add this just here. I think this will be a good place to put this. I had mentioned this right when I had first started, so you weren't even on the team or anything yet then. And I had a woman in Minnesota on my team, and she actually has since left the company, but she's like, Jim, that is the craziest idea. I told them to put a few sprinkles in their wallet, and let's face it, money is the dirtiest thing we all touch every single day. Okay, if you use cash. And I told them, I said, try to find a way to use cash, because if you get that money smelling good, cashiers, they oh my gosh, they hit the calculator. They hit money, they see money every day, okay? So when you hand them that money, they're like, oh, that smells good. What's that smell? Boom. You got a choice right to go in there. The other thing I told my team back then is I said, keep your... and nobody take offense to this, I know how you women operate. Every amount is in that purse. So I said, don't go through drive-through, go into the bank, and you set your purse up on the teller area or however they have now, and have your deposit ready, but that's not the first thing you pull out. You pull out a couple of those samples or scoops in it, you put them on there. What are they going to do? What is that? It leads right into it. When a woman said to me, oh my gosh, I sold 4 jars in the bank today. It was the easiest thing I ever did. Well, yeah. She didn't have to ask anybody. She wouldn't even make a deposit. Okay? So those are things of being, being prepared and some of that. I guess I'll start this next one.
Because I'm not any good at this one.
Uncluttered. We all get involved in so many things, and we take on these direct sales companies. This company, there's more we're constantly adding to it, and especially if you're raising children and balancing another job, you have a lot of clutter in your life, meaning your mind, your desk, your house, your car, just your life in general. And you just have to find ways just to sort through it and achieve it. I mean, I will know, I did this to my walk-in closet last year, and I never realized how much clothes I have and how I was addicted to clothes. And I had like 100 hangers empty it didn't even look like I did anything to my walk-in closet. But I felt so good about it because I had everything organized. And when you organize, and this is in many different ways that you could apply this to this business, when you organize all aspects of that, it's great. While I was traveling for the winter, my oldest daughter moved back into the house. And she decided that she is going to redo every closet in the kitchen because she just felt like nothing was in the right place. Well, I mean, it's still, I've been back, I don't know, 2 months now or something. And I will unload the dishwasher, and I can put the glasses away and the dinner plates and the silverware away. But anything else, I have no idea where they go because she has things that she's like, don't put that away. You'll put it away in the wrong place. I'm like, okay. So it's sitting out on the counter until she could put it away, and it was just because she did. And I tell you, she did a great job of organizing. But I just have not had the time to learn it yet, and that's what I have to do. I have to go, and she's in Europe this week, so I am like going through and saying, okay, now why would she put that in that closet? But you know what? It's her house too. She has to like it, so I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter to me. We'll just put that pan in that closet. That's good. There's a reason for it. I don't know.
And I think uncluttering your mind too is back to that whole list making.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Jessica, and I have attention deficit hyper. It is very hard. I constantly have a million things going through my head. You know what? I don't know if it's ADHD. It might very well be parenting. Mm-hmm. Or having 2 children suck all your brains out while you're pregnant with them and then not getting them all back. But, that's really the only one that I can sort of give advice on. My desk is a hot mess. Gosh, we should have an organization call and let my husband, my dear husband, I don't think he's on here anymore. He is OCD. Like, everything has a home. Everything is in its place. He should do that as a side job. He should maybe start organizing. Or even your car. Your car is a big one, too.
Oh, yeah.
Got a new car, so I'm really working on not treating it like crap. But just organizing your car. You're going to and from places. Or if you're parked in a parking lot and you have your car signs on there, and your car's filled with, cigarette butts and McDonald's bags and all that kind of stuff. It might. I'm not saying it does or does not, but it might make someone think twice about, picking up that phone or checking that email. And see, it's not just me. Oh, he is on. Huh? Hey, babe. And then uncluttering your life. Sometimes you got to get rid of some of those friends too, right? Like, unclutter your Facebook, get rid of the negativity in your life, get rid of junk. We went through, because again, I got that ADHD thing. I went through this whole minimalistic phase, which I'm still trying to get there. What the hell do we need 15 wooden spoons for? Like you don't need 15 wooden spoons. You can only use like maybe 3 max at a time. We had a lot when we were little, but my mom used to beat my brother's butt with them.
Yeah.
So he would hide them,
Every
and then
mom
she'd have
did.
to just buy new ones. So really just uncluttering your life. And it doesn't have to be all at once. It can be go to that 15 minutes a day. Go to 15 minutes or give yourself an hour and say, today, I'm doing the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And clean out your fridge.
One thing. Yeah.
You know, clean out your kitchen cabinets. Clean out your closet. Don't do, and God, my God, my husband used to come home from work and I'd be like, I have, again, ADHD cleaning. I'd go, oh, I'm going to clean out my closet. And I'd pull everything out of the closet and then I'd find something that maybe, I don't know, was supposed to be in the kids' room. So I would go to Brad Thomas's room and I would go in and I would go, oh, you know what, while I'm in here, I'm just going to take everything out of his closet too. Meanwhile, my closet is still all over my bed.
Yeah, finish one project.
Yeah, that's long story short. We're just going to finish one project on that.
I think this you said about uncluttering and even like your Facebook friends and people that, I think that flows really nicely right into this next thing is the positive outlook. And, basically is, it says you reap what you sow. So whatever you put out there is what you're going to get back. People pick up on positive energy really, really easily. And, and the other side of this is I cannot tell you how many people I have clicked and I've unfollowed simply because the messages they post, I don't want it filtered into my mind. I don't want to see the negative energy. I don't want to see the complaining about the cashier, the how she touched your eggs at the grocery store. What does it really matter? I mean, I'm just like, oh my God.
The shell anyway.
I'm like, if your life is like that, I feel sorry for you, and I don't want to subject my mind to that. So if you create a complete positive outlook, everything just flows. It flows so easily. It flows easily.
And that sort of goes back to, let's talk about Facebook for a minute, Jim, because it's not just your friends, okay?
Oh, no.
It's the 15 million groups. Sorry, there's something flying around here. The 15 million groups that you might be on. There are groups that I removed myself from, and some of them are bigger groups that a lot of people in Pink Zebra are on. I personally can't handle that negativity. And what would happen is I would go to that website or I would go to that Facebook page and I would see something and I'd spend 20 minutes writing up a response about just wanting to rip this person in a professional manner apart, and then I go to post it and the post's been removed and I'm just like, what the heck? I wasted all that time. Or you do make that comment and now there's like a war going on, and that whole time that you're feeding into that negativity or feeding off of that negativity, someone else is working their business. So, get off of those sites that that are filled with all that negativity. And it got to the point where even Paisley commented on a site or two about the negative behavior. We don't tolerate it on our pages.
Nope.
That came from Mary Christensen, who, if you don't know who Mary Christensen is, you need to find out. We have a sense of community, a positive sense of community. Coming on to one of our pages, any of the pages, and complaining about shipping, nothing is fixed by doing that.
What can we do about it?
Right.
Nothing.
If you have a concern, go to ideas and feedback at pinkzebrahome.com, right? Is that the exact address? Mm-hmm. Colby listens. He might just send you a short response. He might not say anything, but believe me, because I've sent a ton of them, and every once in a while I get that, Jessica, we're working on it. So your idea and feedback might not be fixed tomorrow, but it might be something that they're working on. It takes a little bit to figure that out. So stop bitching on Facebook, and if you want something rectified, send it to the company. They do listen to us.
Positive outlook. Okay, the next one we want to talk about for achievers is fostering great relationships. And I think this is, there's so many ways to break this down, and this is amongst, customers, just people in general, team members and leaders. Each one of you have a different relationship with each of those people. And when you create those relationships, and this goes back to what we're saying on the incentive trip. I mean, almost everybody on there is a high achiever to achieve the trip. And so we're all excited. It was like, oh, what's going on with you, and and everything. So you have a relationship with these people, and when you foster these relationships, you grow. I always say to everybody that I think I tried to make sure I learned a couple new things, and this is about life in general, every single day from somebody. And I don't profess to know everything, and anybody that thinks they do about any one subject, you're not. You got to learn.
There's always room to learn.
There always were room to learn. From other people, and that's why you build these relationships with all kinds of different people. With customers, of how they use their product, what they have found with it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Again, recipes. Customers will tell you recipes. Some of my recipes, some of the things are recipes that customers created and that I use now because I find that they're just great. So when you foster and build great relationships, it's one of the stepping stones to achieve success.
And I did a challenge in my boot camp, and I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm going to challenge everybody right now. At least once a week, heck, once a day. Let's be realistic. You all spend a lot of time on Facebook. Go find 10 different people and comment on their page, whether it's a post or a picture or something that they said that day, and it can't have anything to do with Pink Zebra. And those people that you're commenting on, don't let them have anything to do with Pink Zebra. Make those all about your friends, your family, whatever it might be, and just try to build those relationships, because I do think that a lot of us get really caught up in wanting so desperately to be successful that we start just throwing up Pink Zebra to everybody and anybody who will listen, which is awesome, don't get me wrong. But sometimes, social media is exactly for that. It's to be social. And it's one thing to share your passion. It's another thing to spam people and annoy the crap out of them. So make that, a challenge yourself to go out and just, share, comment, just be happy for somebody else on Facebook. Achievers have a guiding light. Find something that gets you motivated when you don't have that motivation. So, maybe it's some music. We did that Rock Your Business, and I love music. So I have a You're Doing It playlist, and that's what I put on when I'm feeling a little down or when I need that kick in the pants. I put that playlist on, and it makes me like, oh yeah, I got this. Maybe it's your vision board. Maybe it's your kids, or a picture of the trip that you want to go on, or whatever it might be. But find something that when you're feeling down, and if you've been in Pittsburgh for the last 6 weeks of rain that we've had, it's been very hard to get motivated. I had 4 Oreo cookies before you came here. Okay, so find a way to keep you motivated.
Yeah, and it's just you have to just, everybody has a happy place that they take themselves to. Just mentioned with this rain, and I hate snow, but I also hate rain. Okay, I'm a sun person, I'll admit it.
Why do you live in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I love that you live in Pittsburgh, but
and it's like this rain it can be just really, really depressing. And next on Sunday, I'm going to Aruba with some friends of mine who bought another timeshare there, and I only had to pay for my airfare, so it was kind of a no-brainer. And again, because I work for myself, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be glad to go. So I used all the pictures of Aruba, and they sent pictures of their condo area and all that, and I used those as my motivational thing. It was like, okay, I got to get through this. I got to get through this, and I'm not going to let this weather get me down, because if I get through this week, I can get to go to Aruba. So we all have a happy place that we need to take us to, and when you just find whatever it is, find whatever it is to get you there. The next one is the early riser. I don't think this girl sleeps, okay?
Sometimes. I did sleep for like a week last week.
Early bird gets the worm, and be organized and be prepared. And it just goes back to one of the first points we made about knowing your product. And I think it's, what's this? I need something.
She was, no,
I don't. I think it's just letting people, being this organized and preparing yourself, and knowing when I get up in the morning, I go to my vent. I talk to myself, as I'm getting ready. I'm going to take my shower. It's like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. And when I get there, I sold these recipes yesterday and I forgot to make them. I got to make sure I get this taken care of, and I'm going to get this done. So when you prepare yourself and organize yourself in that manner, you're not scattered. And it goes back to, again, creating a list. So many of these things are interchangeable. They all make, they work together. And that's what when you start to get little aspects of all these, you'll see how they all come together and work hand in hand with this. But that's a good one also.
Achievers, they avoid busy work. Oh, busy work.
Yeah.
So, and again, this came up pretty much at Rally. Don't recreate the wheel. Pink Zebra has all of these pictures for us. And I was right there. I was doing it. I was copying and pasting the picture, and then I was adding a couple things to it, and then I would, I was put my website on it, and blah, 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 blah. Why? Well, why am I doing that? Well, I can just go to Pink Zebra Home on Facebook and click share, and then write a little something above it. They are taking professional pictures for us. They are, it's great, don't get me wrong. I highly recommend, on social media, having pictures that if you're doing a birthday party, then make sure there's some Pink Zebra in the background or somewhere or something. But don't take all that time to. I'm trying to think of some of the busy work. I've been really good at trying to X out of busy work. So.
Oh, it's just easy. I think just to do anything not to achieve what has to be done, and we all do that. I do it. I fall victim to it also sometimes, and you just got to keep focused and say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I have to do this, and because you have to follow through. I had an event on Friday, and I also had one Saturday. And Friday, when I came home from the event, I knew I had a shipment coming. And somebody said, hey, do you want to meet me for a drink? And it would have been real easy for me to say, oh, yeah, I'll meet you. And I was like, no, I can't. We're like, oh, come on. And I'm like, no, I really can't. And I couldn't because I wanted to go through the order. I wanted to, tag stuff and be prepared. So when I went on Saturday, I was ready to go in there. So it would be easy to, just to say, oh, okay, I'm going to forget about this work here right now, and I'm going to go off into something else. And you can't do that. You got to be prepared with this, All
right, so. I know we started late, but we only have until 10:30, and then it's going to shut us off.
Okay.
Okay, so healthy lifestyle. We're going to keep this short. I'm taking this one, Jim.
Yeah,
Ignore the fact that I had 4 Oreo cookies. But achievers, they do have a healthy lifestyle. They're watching what they put into their bodies. They're exercising, meditating, just things to make themselves all around a better, more successful person.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm short and sweet on that one, guys.
Yeah, that was good. And I'm glid you took that one because I was like, what the heck am I going to say about this?
I'm really good at faking
The next is understanding, achiever understands for personal strength. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm bad at. And I'm not a tech person, and I think part of that has to be with generational. I wasn't exposed to so much of this when I was young. Many of you grew up with a computer. I didn't. I went all through college. I had a typewriter. Okay, I had to do. That was anxious. That was years ago. So I know what my strengths are, and I know what my weaknesses are. And when you do that, don't be afraid to admit to that. And seek out people that can help you maybe be stronger in something else. And when you do that, it flows correctly.
But also playing on your strengths. If so yes, you're learning maybe some of the things that you're weak on, like Jim, we're working together on the tech stuff. But he's working on that, but it's not that's busy work for him right now. I could help him do that. He could be working on all those other things that he's really good at and just enhancing them even more. Which brings us to number 19. Achievers surround themselves with talent. So, I played hockey since I was 11, minus the last couple years. But we loved playing. At first, you hated it, right? You hated playing the teams that were that much better than you because you got your butts handed to you. But then my dad sat me down and he's like, look, if you're always the top dog, you're not playing against anybody who's trying to make you better. So you're playing down. We used to play down to that level. So if there were two teams, and you're playing that 10th place team. First of all, there are never 10 women's teams ever in Pittsburgh, I don't think. But you were playing down to that level, and so it was always so much better to play against people that were better than you. So achievers, they surround themselves with talent. This is why we encourage you to go to reunions, to go to rallies, to attend team meetings. Just something that you're around people who are better at something than you are. So maybe you're a rock star at fundraisers, but you suck at parties. Then you seek those people out. And when you go to those rallies, when you go to reunions, and they're like, oh, top party people, let's stand up. Look at them and think, all right, during break, I need to go find that person and find out what the heck they're doing. And step outside that box if you have to go and talk to those people. Yeah,
that's so important, is to reaching out to the people that are good. And, and I know that there's certain people that I know they're good at. I mean, Brett and Roxy, I think they're probably still on the call, that they are. And they're geniuses at this. Brett's a master of all this tech type stuff and all that.
Thank goodness, or we wouldn't have been on this call right now.
But and you keep those people, and you keep that communication open to help you with it. The next to the last thing, number 20, is practicing the fundamentals.
Back to basics.
Back to basics. You can't get anywhere unless you put the good stuff in, and good stuff in is getting you good results. You can't bake a great cake if you're going to use the cheapest ingredients, and you just have to know everything. That's why know your back office. I tell everybody that back office won't explode when you click those tabs. Click every single tab. You can't break it. Click every tab, look underneath them, pull them up, and see, and I don't think so much now, but there was a point when it first came out, they were moving some things around sometimes. You'd be like, well, that used to be here. So that's why, even for us, I mean, I still go in there all the time and look, and you gotta.
We had a different website.
Yeah, you have to check things out and knowing where everything is. But if you don't have the fundamentals, the back to basics, the block building things to create this business.
That's parties.
Yeah.
That's fundraisers. That's events. That's sponsoring.
Know them all. It's so critical for success.
And then last and certainly not least, number 21, our big bonus. Achievers are never content. They never say, I'm good here. They keep going for more. They're always looking ahead. I know, guys, I encourage you all the time, and I'm looking around, I don't even think I have it. If you're working on executive consultant, then you're working on an executive consultant, but you're looking ahead to manager. If you're working on manager, then you're working on manager and you're looking ahead to executive manager. You're always looking ahead to that next step. And one that goes back to planning. You're not content. You're not just sitting there. If you think for 1 second that Jessica is content with being an executive manager, you're crazy. Am I happy to be here? Absolutely. If you think Jim Kessler is content with being a director, very thankful. I'm sure I'm not going to speak for him, but yes, very thankful.
No.
But
I got a plan.
You got to have that plan. They're not content. They're always thinking ahead and thinking of what they can do next to achieve.
And it's not just from a monetary standpoint. My next step is promoting to executive director will not be really an increase in pay for me unless I had 2 directors in a downline, which I don't right now. But so it's just not from a monetary standpoint, but it helps me build my self-image. It helps build the respect that the people within the company have for you. And I just know, like, the things that Tom and Kelly said to me, the kind words they said to me right from their heart when I met them on my director's trip. And that's why you do some of this too. You're never content. You always want to push yourself because you learn. Life is about learning and sharing. And I always say, one of my sayings is that we're put on this planet for a short period of time. As much as we can learn from each other, our lives will be better. And that's how I live my life every single day.
And I know I posted on both my page and your page. Tom and Kelly, if and when you have the chance to meet them, they make you not want to be content. They are the kindest, most generous people that I have ever met. You know, and I used my husband as an example. You know, when we were in San Antonio, and Tom had said, we met Tom in Jamaica, and Tom had said, Brad, you know, are you going to be in Costa Rica with us next year? And we're going to go deep sea fishing and blah, blah, blah. And Brad was sort of like, okay. Because, you know, he has this, like, this thing about him where he gets you so excited, and you want to do well for Tom and Kelly. Like, yeah, you want to do well for yourselves.
Like, I'm doing it.
But like, yeah, I'm going to be there with you, Tom and Kelly. But then, you know, he left his job. My husband left his job of 16 years and went and found something in the same field. He does have a goal. Him and Tom have a plan. Tom wants to hear at the next incentive trip that Brad has quit his job to do Pink Zebra full time. But Tom private messaged Brad, just talking about how he didn't, you know, it was okay that it wasn't Pink Zebra that he was quitting for, but he knew that Brad was going to do amazing at this new job, and how he had all the utmost faith in him. And it was just like, wow, you know, friends and family didn't even, don't get me wrong, we had a ton of support, more support I think from our Pink Zebra family than anybody else. But the fact that the owner of this company took time out of his day to send Brad, a friend, you know, this message, and it was just very, it was very humbling, and it makes you feel good. But Tom and Kelly help you to not feel content.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up, and I think that what our message was tonight was to share with you the quality of people who are achievers, and how you can get there. And I think if you just take some of these ideas to mind and work on a couple of them, you'll soon realize that how they play off of each other, and how it's real critical for them for it all things to start to fall in line for you. But you got to have a vision, and you had to keep focused and plan and go back to the basics. I mean, I can't say that enough.
Maybe take 5 of them. Take 5 of the things that we talked about tonight, and say, okay, I'm going to implement this into my life. But we have about 7 minutes. Does anybody have any questions before live stream kicks us off? Because I only made this till 10:30. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? No one? I don't know what the delay is, so I hate to just go, okay, we're good. Sorry about the lighting. I'm looking. This is not lack of sleep. This is lighting. My eyes aren't that black, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go home and go to bed. I'm totally not going home and go to bed. All right, Jim, I think that is it. Nobody has any questions because we are that good that we have answered everything on this topic for them.
I'm telling you.
Look, there we go. It's truly a great feeling to feel the love. That's coming from a guy who Brad was like, I'm never going to be that person at one of those events. It's like, woo! I see all these people cheering. And then when they announced the trip was in Vegas, or the reunion was in Vegas, I look over and he was like, yeah! And I was like, what?
Who are you?
All right. Well, if that's it, then that's it, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Keep up the good work. And get those orders in. We don't want you to be delayed next month complaining you can't get them. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I don't know if it's still recording.